This is the review of the 2026 Dodge Charger RT. Now, Dodge gambled that the next muscle car era would be electric, led by the aptly named Charger. They didn't put all their money on electrons. They offered this coupe and sedan as both an EV and as a gas-only car. For testing, we purchased the Charger RT sedan with the base engine, the 6-pack. It has a 420 horsepower twin turbocharged inline engine and all-wheel drive and a few extras. We want to sample this latest take on the American muscle sedan. Today's Mopar muscle formula is somewhat familiar. Take a big car, put a big engine in it, give it bold styling, make it wide, dramatic. This is a car that is both retro and modern all in one. This Charger is a natural evolution from the prior generation car. It's long, low, and wide. There are some key differences, such as it is now a hatchback and all-wheel drive is standard. These are nice upgrades while preserving the basic package and character that the nameplate has exhibited for so long. And we do mean long, as in the last generation dates back to 2011 without a major redesign. The good news for enthusiasts is that there are different powertrains to choose from, as well as different options and packages to personalize and upgrade the car. We bought a 2026 Dodge Charger RT for testing. Base price on that was $51,995. We added a few extras, such as the driver convenience group for $14.95, the Blacktop package for $12.95, ludicrous paint for $6.95, and My FlexCare service for $225. That covers the cost for initial maintenance. Those options totaled $3,710. The most expensive add-on was the required destination charge of $19.95. All told, this modern muscle sedan stickered for $57,700. The final assembly point was Windsor, Ontario, Canada. This is a big car. It measures 6 inches longer and 5 inches wider than the previous sedan. The front lighting is simple, and the horizontal shapes here accentuate the Charger's imposing width. The hood has a dramatic bulge, signaling that serious power lurks within. Given the confusing nomenclature, it's handy that the hood lists the engine name. In this case, it's a 6-pack. From the side, the sedan looks like a coupe with 4 doors. To my eyes, the C-pillar and rooflines are a bit awkward, but I love the curves on the fenders. Now these lines remind me of the 1999 Dodge Charger concept vehicle. And frankly, it tickles me the idea of thinking designers were looking at photos of that vehicle for decades before creating this modern car. The wheel arches in our car are filled with 20-inch wheels. They came as part of the Blacktop package. You may not realize at a glance, but this is a hatchback. The liftgate is so tastefully integrated, you may not notice. Now around the back, we've got LED lights that once again stretch the full width. This really embellishes the design of the car and again emphasizes the width. The hatch is a great idea, but we have some concerns, such as you open it by pushing this little hidden button. It doesn't pop up. There isn't much space here to get your fingers under, and there's not much of a lip here. The liftgate is a bit heavy. Now once it's open, you see that the shape is very sloped, even more so than the exterior reveals. This means when you put cargo of any size in, you have to put it way in, like this crate we have here. If you just set it toward the back, where it'd be easy to reach, the top won't close. You push it back here, then it becomes kind of difficult if there's any weight in it. Likewise, if you bought some groceries and they slid about, there's no way you're gonna reach all the way back there. You can fold down the rear seats and that helps expand the area. Under the cargo floor, we have a tire inflator. No full-size spare or donut-size spare. The key thing with being a muscle car is just make sure you don't chew up the tires doing smoky burnouts because you don't have a replacement on board. When it comes time to close the liftgate, you realize there isn't a good grip here. You're just pulling on it with your fingertips, and this is rather heavy. Now, we don't love electric handles. They're a little awkward to use, but better than some other Stellantis vehicles. These doors seem rather large, especially in a regular parking spot, because the car is so wide. When you swing this open, you're gonna have to really watch out for the car beside you, especially if it's an SUV or truck. Access is pretty good thanks to the large door, and also because the seat is elevated a little more than other sedans. For such a large car, the driver feels a bit hemmed in. Part of that's because the ceiling is low, so there isn't a lot of headroom. Many drivers found that their right knee rubbed up against the center console. The forward glass is a bit short, and generally it just doesn't feel quite as big as the exterior dimensions would suggest. Further, for the driving position, the dead pedal, or the footrest on the far left, is a bit far forward and it tilts forward, so the angle is a little unusual. Now, we said that the floor is elevated. The seat is close to it. So that means your legs are in a more outright position than in many cars. Overall, it does have a bit of a unique feel. Feedback amongst our drivers has been a bit mixed about seat comfort. Now, the driver benefits from having some power adjustments, whereas the passenger seat is decidedly manual. Now, the feedback centers around a couple points. One is that the hip is lower than the knee, and that creates kind of an unusual posture. Feedback really varies depending on the size of the driver. These are fairly wide seats, and they are better for a larger driver than a smaller one. We've been a bit mixed on the cushioning. Some found the seats too soft, which make them perhaps a little bit more of a cruiser feel than a sporty, keep you engaged type of feeling. The important thing with any car is to try the seat yourself and see what you find comfortable. As with many other recent Stellantis vehicles, it's clear they know how to design an interior. The cabin here has all kinds of interesting textures and design elements. The dash, for example, it's multiple layers. It's just visually interesting, even though it's all black in here. There's nice, tasteful red stitching around that gives a sporty feel, but also kind of a premium touch. And even the seat upholstery looks really nice. Admittedly, this is almost a $60,000 car, and it has cloth seats, but it combines this kind of interesting patterned cloth with pleather along the sides here. One of my favorite details in the interior is the door liner here. You have this very attractive three-dimensional texture across the back. A little hard plastic, but it looks great. And then in front of it, you get this long handle. This can be used to close the door, or as I find resting my arm here, I can tuck my fingers away. And like many doors, it has an electric release. So you press your thumb on it to open the door. It's a little bit of a stretch, but you can get it. And I love how the screens eschew the standard that's become common throughout the industry of just putting a screen across the whole dash, or just making it look like someone slapped a tablet on it. These are designed, they're right size, easy to see, easy to reach. The controls are generally straightforward, and they're all pretty easy to reach. Of course, many are integrated into the touch screen here, but there's also a strip of climate controls below it, which we like, so that no matter what is going on the screen here, you're able to just reach up and dial in the comfort that you're looking for. However, with this type of button, it's a touch capacitive, and you have to get the timing just right to make the selection. Somewhat related is the heated steering wheel and seats. We found that they warm up at a rather leisurely pace, which may be an issue on a cold morning. Another thing that's drawn our attention is this gear selector here. Referred to as a pistol grip style. Feels a little funny in the hand. It kind of reminds me of a joystick that you'd use on an old video game console for a flight simulator. Really, the feedback is more that for how nice the interior is with all the little embellishments and dressing, this piece of plastic just deserves a little bit more love. It's a touch too plain. And finally, up front here, storage, pretty traditional, nothing unusual here. I got a couple cup holders. I love the little slot in between it. You can stand up your phone. That way you don't forget it when you get out. The little storage up front. Would have been nice if there was a wireless phone charger there. Being a charger, that would have made sense. Center console, got a little storage. Again, very straightforward. Now, earlier referred to the coupe-like styling. Well, here in the back seat, it is very coupe-like. As you get in, you realize space is a bit tight. Now, I'm fully seated. My head doesn't quite fit. Now, I'm 5'8", and frankly, I don't really fit. My head is pressing up against the ceiling, and I can't lean back unless I really slope down, in which case I do fit, not very comfortably. My toes don't tuck neatly under the seats in front of me, in part because I'm wearing boots. Space in this gigantic car is a bit limited for larger passengers. For those who do fit back here, there is a vent to allow a little heat or cooling air, and there's a couple charge points. And if you flip down the center armrest, there's two cup holders. The armrest is a little short, so as you rest your arm on it, it's firmly on this hard plastic here. The back seat is not the best seat in the house. All right, with the obligatory nitpicking out of the way in the garage, let's head out on the track and talk about how it drives. Dodge claims that the 420 horsepower engine can move this heavy car from 0 to 60 in just 4.6 seconds. That'd be 1.5 seconds quicker than the last Charger we tested with a V8. That would also mean its 0 to 60 time is a match for the Ford Mustang GT that we last tested. We'll see what the real numbers are once we complete break-in and put this through all of our tests. But the Charger doesn't always feel as fast as it sounds. Part of the reason is the transmission. Especially going from first to second, there's a little bit of a hesitation. We think that the enthusiastic response from both the transmission and the engine is adding a lot of personality, but it may be a little bit at the expense of the feel of acceleration. Now, part of that is because the acceleration just isn't quite as linear as it is with some other cars. Now, there is one solution for this, and no, it's not just simply buy the bigger engine 550 horsepower version. It's going into the controls menu and changing the drive mode. As most people do, we've been driving around in automatic. It defaults to that on startup. But when you click over to Sport, now the vehicle gets a bit more responsive and a lot more fun. It's making all kinds of noises. You got the engine roaring, you got the exhaust barking. It's announcing it's ready for playtime. In true muscle car fashion, handling isn't its strongest suit. This car is happiest in a straight line, but it does hold the road well, and part of the reason is because it has all-wheel drive. It's able to put that power down. Now, if you want to be a little bit more playful in a safe setting, you can turn off the all-wheel drive and turn it into rear drive only, as muscle cars were meant to be. The steering response in automatic mode favors cruising. It's very gentle and relaxed on center, which is just what you want when you're putting down highway miles. But in sport mode like we have it, it's a bit more responsive and it's a bit more fun on our road course. The ride quality on our car skews a bit firm. And part of the reason is we got the Blacktop package, which has 20-inch wheels. Now, if you really favor highway cruising, you might like the 18-inch standard setup that it comes with. But on the highway, the car feels very well composed. It's just when you hit kind of rougher roads like we're driving on here at our track that it starts to expose the ride isn't luxurious. However, if you're an enthusiast driver, this is probably exactly what you expect and will like. Visibility is a bit of an issue with this car. The main reason is the rear view mirror is oddly positioned in the center of the windshield rather than up toward the top. And then there's this big plastic shroud that goes behind it. This effectively removes a large portion of the forward visibility. And looking out to the back, the hatch is large, but it's sloped, so the window doesn't appear very big. Throw in a couple headrests, all of a sudden the view is very restricted. One thing that we don't love about this car is the shape of the steering wheel. It's a squircle or square circle as we've been calling them. For a car that's made to do donuts, we'd sure like a steering wheel that was round and shaped like one. Let me show you what I mean. So I wind this up, you can see as it unwinds that it is anything but round. On the safety front, Charger comes with all of the key safety gear that we would recommend and customers are looking for. Judged purely as a sedan, there are some shortcomings. The back seat is hard to access, space is a bit tight there. The cargo area is not ideal. Charger is really a visceral driving experience. That's what it's about. This is a car for enthusiasts, not just for highway cruising. For enthusiasts, the car can be optioned up. In fact, if you take a look at the Scat Pack sedan, it's only $5,000 more than this RT. And it brings 130 more horsepower, performance suspension, Brembo brakes, and other upgrades that make it even more exciting to drive. So that's our video review of the 2026 Dodge Charger RT. For more on sporty cars, visit consumerreports.org.